Welcome to WonderWorks series Saturdays in Space. If you missed part 1, please make sure you go check it out as it includes an important introduction. All our videos are available on Facebook or our YouTube channel. We will now continue with Ask an Astronaut with NASA's Dr. Don Thomas.
All right, Katie has the next question. And Katie asks, sometimes I think my students feel the need to be absolutely perfect at every single subject in school in order to be successful. And if they aren't good at everything, they may as well not be good at anything. What subjects did you struggle with when you were in school? Well, let me just tell you that you don't have to be absolutely perfect in everything. And what you do need to do is be your absolute best. You want to work and always do your best. Now, different people are good at different things. Some people may be good at math and they're terrible at language. Some people may be great athletes and they forget their spelling words. So nobody is good at absolutely everything. So we all try to do our best in everything that we do. And if I had weak areas, I would always try to work extra hard in that. When I became an astronaut, I had some flying experience, but I didn't have as much as the other astronauts that had been selected. So, because I wanted to get better in the flying, I focused on that. That wasn't my strong point, but I focused on it to try to get better and better. So the most important thing is not to be absolutely perfect. The most important thing is to always do your best. And in school, and when I was in elementary school, I was an average student. I got mainly B's, some A's and some C's. In middle school, I started working a lot harder on my schoolwork, and I was getting A's and B's. And then by the time I got to high school, I was really focused. I was working so hard on my schoolwork that I had nearly straight A's in high school. I had one B and the rest A's. And I got those grades, again, not because I'm the smartest person in the world, but because I worked really hard. I studied really hard. I have a fraternal twin brother who's like a genius. He never had to study, and he got straight A's easily. But I was one of those students that had to work hard, read the chapter, read it again, talk to my teacher, study some more. But in the end, I got it. I learned everything I needed to learn, and I learned how to work hard along the way. So some of the subjects I struggled with, I know my brother was a lot better than I was at reading, when we were young. He was a much better reader. And I struggled a little bit with the math. I really enjoyed math. That's always hard for me, but I really enjoyed it. And I worked harder and harder, and I got better and better at it. So I was really good as a young boy at memorizing. Spelling words I could memorize. History, I was pretty good at. I would memorize all the facts and dates, and that was pretty easy for me. But some of the other subjects, like I said, the math was a challenge for me in the reading when I was young. I had to work extra hard in those areas. So don't sweat it too much if you're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. No astronaut is perfect, okay? But you want to be your absolute best, and nobody will ever complain about that. All right. Next question is from Lupita, and Lupita asks, what is the one thing you wish everybody knew about being an astronaut? And Lupita, I think I would say that I wish everybody knew that astronauts are just regular people. We're not supermen and superwomen. We're just regular people, just like you. And I know on my first mission, I came back from space and I had just traveled to space. I was a NASA astronaut and I felt like a superhero. I'm an astronaut. But when I got home, my wife reminded me I'm just a normal human being. And she would tell me, hey, tomorrow morning you got to mow the front yard and make sure you take out the garbage. And you've been gone for 2 weeks in space and you get to change the next couple of diapers for our son when he was a young boy, a baby. So it just reminds you, I'm back on Earth. I'm a normal person leading a normal life. Astronauts work hard to get where they're at, but they're just normal people. And I wish everybody knew we're just like you and I. I mean, we're all the same together here. Okay, the next question's from Megan. And Megan asks, Did I like science as a kid? I did, Megan. I really like science, and I knew that was my path to becoming an astronaut. I loved studying mummies in the pyramids in Egypt. I always, since I was a young boy, liked looking up at the stars. Looking at the stars and the planets and the moon. I bought a telescope when I was in high school, and I would study the moon. And I remember seeing the rings on Saturn and the moons around Jupiter. So I always, like science. I like biology. I like chemistry, almost all branches of science. And I think, again, it's the reason I liked it so much is because there's just so much you can learn there. There's so much you can discover in science. And I was just fascinated by all aspects of it. Although today I think I enjoy the most, the astronomy and the space science. I like watching what the rovers are doing on Mars today and what our satellites are doing when they fly by, different planets in the solar system. So I really enjoy science. I did as a young boy. I still enjoy it today. Okay, Jane has our next question. And Jane asks, what tasks did I find to be more challenging than expected when in space? Now, Jane, we go through a lot of training here on the ground to prepare us for our missions. So we're pretty well prepared for almost everything that we're going to do in space. But the one thing that I wasn't prepared for was looking at the Earth and figuring out where we were around the planet. I had studied the Earth. We had 50 or 100 hours of Earth observation training where they would show us pictures of the Earth taken from space so we can recognize features. But on my first mission, when I got to space, I would look out the window. If I saw blue out the window, I knew that was an ocean. If I saw brown, that was dirt. And that's about all I knew. So I really needed to learn more. And during my first mission, I had a map and I would study where we were. And slowly you get better and better. And by my second mission, third mission, and my last mission, I could look out the window and I would know, okay, we're over northern Africa. Maybe this is the Sahara. We're going to be coming up on Egypt. So I had a pretty good feel of where we were around the Earth. But I didn't have that on my very first flight. That was a little bit more challenging, trying to figure out where we were around planet Earth. Okay, our next question. What do you study in school to become an astronaut? And this comes from Katie. What do you study in school to become an astronaut? And Katie, we have to learn so much. We learn about the weather. We learn about the oceans. We learn about volcanoes. All these things on planet Earth that we're going to be, seeing out the window. We study about those. We also have to study about how the space shuttle works. We have to learn what every switch inside does and where it's located. If we have an emergency during launch and somebody says we need to shut down one of the engines, you can't be sitting there saying, okay, where was that switch? I think it's over here. You have to react immediately. So we train and we train so we know exactly where all the switches are. And we spend a lot of time on that. We train underwater, as I mentioned earlier, practicing spacewalks. And we fly jets. So we have to study so much to get ready for a trip to space. But I love learning. So for me, that was a real joy to learn about the weather, to learn volcanoes and about the oceans. These are all things that I really enjoy learning about. So again, if you love learning and you love exploring, I think the astronaut job is a great one for you.
Thank you for joining Saturdays in Space. We appreciate all the teachers and students that sent in their amazing questions. We hope to see you next week. Make sure you give us a follow, a like, and a share so you don't miss out on more videos and a chance to win free WonderWorks tickets.